my buddy, my longtime friend and Super Bowl champion as part of Crown Royal. How are you, Ed?
I'm good, brother from another mother. How you doing today, man?
Better for talking to you. Better for talking to you. What are you hearing from Ravens camp these days, Ed? How good do you think this team can be when it's all said and done?
It's always as good as they want to be. You know, it's never about it. It's never about anybody else. You know, if I know that organization right, you know, it's always about the Ravens and how they play. You know, I think if they work together in all facets of the game, you know, on defense, offense, special teams, obviously that's the key to success. They'll be all right.
Well, I mean, they could be all right, or Flacco, it says right, from what everybody hearing, has come in as locked in as ever because of Lamar Jackson's presence. And the last time that he was basically told he needs to prove himself, you guys were picking confetti out of your hair in New Orleans. Is that an accurate point that we could draw lines between?
I don't think Joe is come back focused more just because of Lamar. You know, Joe is a smart player, smart guy, and understands that they're drafting guys every year, and at any time, if he's not ready or not performing right, they can take him off the field. You know, I think in the last few years, Joe's, you know, had some injuries, you know, and probably not met the expectations that he's wanted, though I know, you know, you tend to hear the grumbles outside of the organization, outside the team. So I'm pretty sure he heard that and wants to prove the naysayers wrong. You know, being that, you know, he hasn't done certain things, you know, since the Super Bowl.
So do you think John Harbaugh needs to win this year to keep his gig, Ed, knowing the owner as well as you do and knowing the situation of that organization as well as you do?
I won't know how well I know him, Rich. You know, I went to Houston. I went to the Jets, so I can't say I know them 100%. I don't know what John's job, you know, entails this year. If he wins, goes to the playoffs, you know, I don't know. You know, they said Marvin Lewis was going to lose his job last year, and he got an extension.
Are you not?
So
are you not cool with the Ravens organization, Ed Reed?
No, I'm really cool with them, but I don't get into their business matters, you know, as people think. You know, fans hit me all the time, like, why are you visiting Atlanta? Why are you visiting Cleveland? You know, why are you talking to this team and that team and not working with us? Well, the other team's called, you know, so I don't know, man. You know, I'm a vocal guy, you know, that can rub some people the wrong way. You know, I don't hold my tongue with football because it is football, you know, and we in a partnership, we working together. There shouldn't be many egos, you know, though there's egos, especially in coaching for some reason, you know. So I don't know, man. I can't answer that question too much from their side, Rich.
Okay, so what do you think of the talk that's going down in the Steelers locker room right now with Le'Veon Bell holding out and some of his linemen, including player reps, saying that he should be there and that they're disappointed he's not talking about another player's money while he is making a business decision, Ed?
Rich, it's an individual business. It's a team sport. One thing I knew about when I got to the league, when a guy is doing his business, because I held out my first year, when a guy's doing his business, you let him take care of his business. Why? Because you know how brutal this game is. You know how cutthroat this business is. You let that guy handle his business. Now, the selfish player, as we tend to be, want our guys to be there. We want our athletes, we want our stars to be there, the guys we need to win. Because ultimately, it is about winning, and it is a team sport. But like I said, it's an individual business. You know, so I understand where the players are coming from. But at the same time, they got to answer that differently. Let those guys handle their business. You know, they'll be here when they be here. That's the answer. That's the true answer to this question. You know, when being asked if that was my teammate, Le'Veon, I would love Le'Veon to be here. You know, as any team in the National Football League would love him to be in their locker room on their team, but he's trying to take care of business. He's trying to take care of his family. He's trying to take care of his body. I would recommend it to him. Why? Because I'm sitting here and I know the things that don't get done or you're not going to get taken care of as well as you think when you're retired. So you got to make sure that you're preparing yourself for your future, preparing yourself, to be taken care of after the game is over, you know.
What do you mean by that, Ed? Get into that a little bit more if you don't mind.
So if you drink too much at the game, if you overconsume, you're going to pass out. You might not be able to remember the whole game, So that's why you take your water breaks. Right now, I feel like Le'Veon is taking a water break, because he understands that he has a lot of plays that he is a part of. He's a part of 70% of Pittsburgh's offense. So he's like looking at it like, hey man, I'm a big part of this. I'm not getting compensated the way I feel I should be, as a player, not just a running back, but as an NFL player in the league. He's probably one, if not top, I would say top 10 players in the football league, especially in fantasy football, that people want on their team because of his production. His production speaks for itself. Yeah, I know you signed a contract, but those contracts are also negotiable. So he's got to figure out his number, correlated with the Pittsburgh number, and they got to come to an agreement. Therefore, both teams are hydrated properly, and they can get this thing going.
No, I know. And Ed Reed, courtesy of Crown Royal, the water break. By the way, I just love the way you're just weaving in your sponsor into your conversation. You are really next level, Ed Reed. You are next level. I know we'll get to the Crown Royal in a second, but I do just want to touch on this one last piece of business here. When Le'Veon comes in, because again, he can't get a long-term deal right now based on the franchise tag rules right now. So when he comes in, how does this do the guys just welcome him, give him a hug, and then it's all forgotten? Or will they just look out of the sides of their helmets from time to time when he's coming off the field, wondering if he's coming off the field for a reason other than a water break, Ed?
If they need help with it, Rich, it ain't none of their damn business what happens. So long as you get there, and when you get there, it should be all football. It shouldn't be any business talk because they're not his agent and they're not him. They already got their contracts. They're already getting their check. They worry about themselves and play football. If they're worrying about contracts and worrying about Le'Veon and all that stuff, that's going to take away from what they're trying to accomplish as a team. Whenever Le'Veon gets there, when he's obligated to get there under the franchise tag, and so be it. Because like I said, at the end of the day, he's got to look out for the betterment of his business. He's a company within the company. So I support the guy, and as his teammates should. Though, like I said, we're selfish as players, and we want to win, especially when we're there. We already got our contract as coaches and players. We want our best guy to be there. We want him to get in. But at the same time, we also should understand that other side of things.
What do you think of the new helmet rule, Ed Reed?
Rich, I was one of the first to be suspended with the helmet rule. Football is a violent sport. It's gonna be that way for ages. It's always been that way for hundreds of years. It's built off violence, so to say. It's a reflection of this country, the NFL is. The reason why, a lot of things, whatever. But anyway, the helmet rule, it's tough, Rich, because football is an instinctive sport. Very instinctive sport. Guys train all season to better their instinct, and if they study film like I did, they're going to get there faster than most guys, and it could be a collision, or they can make a play, preferably an interception from my perspective. But I'm just saying, it's a very instinctive sport. Those guys are training to get there first, Rich, all season. They're training during the week to get there first, to separate guys from the ball, to break up a pass. So there's going to be so many bang-bang plays, so many quick plays that happen. It's just we have the technology now. We have enough people watching the game. I've been sitting with random fans that's watching the game, and something happens, and they can make the call right then and there. But we take it to New York, and it takes 10 minutes or so, last year anyway, to make a call when we've already really saw it, whether it was vicious or if he tried. You can see if a guy tried to do something. We have the luxury in this country to see that. So I just don't think we utilizing our technology right. You know, we need the technology they have at the U.S. Open, man. They seeing the ball hit the line. You know,
Yeah, I know.
we should be able to use all that. You know, so I just think we hold back stuff. You know, we hold back stuff and not utilize the things that we have just to make the game right.
Well, Ed Reed,
the right call.
Ed Reed, I appreciate you coming on. Part of the Water Break, a movement encouraging responsible game day consumption, reinforcing the importance of drinking in moderation and hydrating between alcoholic beverages. You are the man, Ed Reed. Let's do this more often, okay?
Yeah, Rich, let them know, man. You know, I partner with Crown Royal, you know, to make sure people taking their water breaks, you know, and drinking responsible, you know, drinking in moderation, making sure they're taking water breaks and not overconsume alcoholic beverages. That way they can enjoy the game and really yell for their team. You're drunk, you can't yell for your team. Nobody's know what you're yelling. You tend to want to curse your own players out. And us as players don't like that. You know, a drunk fan behind the bench cursing their own team out. You know, so we don't want anybody being over. Should I say?
Overserved.
Yeah, we don't want them drinking too much. You know, we want them drinking in moderation. We want them taking a good water break, drinking responsibly, hydrating generously, you know, to make sure that they can enjoy the game and enjoy the people that they with, you know, and get home safely.
Ed, take care of yourself. We'll chat soon. Right back at you.
You too, Rich, man.
At 20.
Good, brother.
Right back at you. At 20ER on Twitter.
The Rich Eisen Show. Weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.